Okay. Good morning. Okay. Good morning, my dear students. Good morning. Nice to meet you all. Good morning to all of you. Right. Uh, right. For today discussion, what is that? I will start today class. Right. We will see today discussion. I told you last class I will be starting this in a one-way slab today. Right. Very easy and interesting. This in a one-way slab. We are going to see. This Google screen is hidden, okay, because of the notes I have put to full screen in my monitor. If any problem faced, I'll probably make phone call. It's okay. Reinforced concrete solid slab are constructed in one of the following ways. Okay. Actually, I'm going to discuss with you design a one-way slab. After completing design a one-way slab, I will be teaching you two-way slab. I will tell you immediately now what is meant by one-way slab and two-way slab. Very good. Actually, reinforced solid slabs, they are called solid slabs, no, are constructed in one of the following way. One is one-way slab, two-way slabs, and then flat slabs and flat plates. Okay, right. I will tell them what it is. First, I will read out the sentences available in the book first. Yeah, later I will explain my own. One-way slabs are those supported continuously on the two opposite sides, so that the loads are carried along one direction only. No doubt. Okay, they are supported continuously on two opposite sides, so that the loads are carried along the one direction only. Okay. Although, please listen here, one-way slab, although they are supported on all the four sides, they are mainly supported along two opposite sides. It is spanning in that direction. Okay, the load is carried in that direction only. It means predominant action is in this direction. Predominantly, the load is carried in that direction. In another direction, transverse direction also, it is load carried, but comparatively less. Okay, very less, comparatively very less. Okay, I will tell you the next one. The direction in which the load is carried in one-way slab is called the span. No doubt, it is the span of the like in beam you have span. No, like that in slab also it's a span. Okay, the direction in which the load is carried. I will come to further discussion later. Right, it may be in the long or short direction. Right. However, it is given the textbook, it is that it may be in long or short direction, but mainly in short direction. In one-way slab, mainly the load is carried along short direction, short span of the slab, short direction of the slab. Okay, one-way slab are usually made span in the shorter direction. Now the sentence follows. Okay, in the shorter direction, since the corresponding bending moment, that's all. Okay, provided in span direction, not necessary. And another thing, the main reinforcements are provided in the span direction. The two short span direction. Now I will come to our discussion. Just if you visualize, you take just for notebook of or any textbook or notebook of you, put it like a wall in a room. Okay, put it like a wall in your room, right? But you do one thing, one span you make it short. You have books. Okay, like rectangle. You put the book like all the four sides like wall. You put like a rectangle. One is short span, another one is long span. Okay, in that this is one-way slab. How now? If the say the long span is Ly, short span is Lx. If the Ly by Lx ratio, in other words, if the long span to short span ratio is more than 2, we call it as one-way slab. If it is less than 2, we categorize it as two-way slab. This is the way of categorizing. I will repeat. If the ratio of long span to shorter span is more than 2, it means the long span is more than twice the shorter span. We categorize it as a one-way slab. If the long span is less than twice the shorter span, means we categorize it as this one. What? Two-way slab, right? That's what. Okay, you remember that way. Just I told you, to visualize it. You put what is called a book and put a chart paper on it, right? Just like slab, you put a chart paper, simply supported. Just keep chart paper. Take some sand and spread it on the sheet. Okay, like the uniformly distributed load. Spread it on the sheet. You take sand and spread it on the chart paper, which is simply supported on the walls on all the four sides. Okay, now you can able to visualize the slab will sink, bend. The chart paper will bend. But you can see the tendency of bending in the shorter span direction is predominant. The chart paper will bend in the shorter span direction more. Okay, it will go inside. No, just even if you press it with your hand, you can visualize along shorter. That is the tendency, natural tendency. Okay, so naturally the tendency of bending will be predominant or more in that short span direction. In long span direction, slight. It should not be much. Okay, that's what you have to. It's a one-way slab. The tendency of bending. That is why we provide the main reinforcement along the shorter span direction. Okay, at the bottom of the slab, we provide the reinforcement, main reinforcement along the shorter span direction. Say some 10 mm dia bar at so and so mm center to center. Okay, we provide, or 8 mm dia bar at so and so mm center to center, just this much center, say 150 mm center to center, 180 mm center to center, we provide that. Okay, that's what. Sir, are we not providing this one along this long span direction? No reinforcement is being provided. If you ask, yes, it is being provided. Along long span direction also, we provide reinforcement above the main reinforcement. Already main reinforcement we provided along shorter span direction. Above that, we provide a secondary reinforcement called secondary reinforcement. That is called transverse secondary reinforcement. That is called distribution steel. That steel is called a distribution steel. Okay, the minimum required steel quota provision is there. What should be the minimum transverse steel, distribution steel to be provided? There is a quota provision. That much amount we provide. Okay, that's what it is written here. The steel is called steel also provided in the transverse direction to distribute any unevenness that may occur in loading. Okay, and for temperature and shrinkage effects in the direction. Very, very important. Actually, we provide the scientist steel or distribution steel to cater temperature and shrinkage effect in the direction, and also any unevenness in the loading. Okay, please again I will repeat. Steel also provided in the transverse direction to distribute any unevenness that may occur in loading and for temperature and shrinkage effects in the direction. That is very important. This steel is called distribution steel or secondary steel. Okay, we have provided main steel in the shorter span direction. We are providing, and also we are providing a distribution or secondary steel in the transverse direction. That is in the long span direction. Main steels are provided in the shorter span direction in a one-way slab. I am talking about one-way slab. But in two-way slab, both are called main reinforcement. First main reinforcement will be provided in short span direction, and then main reinforcement will be provided in long span direction for two-way slabs. Okay, but in one-way slab, along shorter span direction, we provide main reinforcement. Above that, in the transverse direction, that is long span direction, we provide distribution steel or secondary steel reinforcement. Keep it in mind. That's what this paragraph states nicely, very nicely, beautifully explained in these textbooks. Okay, and then the main steel is calculated from the bending moment consideration. Actually, the main reinforcement we compute from the bending moment to which the slab is subjected along short span direction. No doubt. And under no circumstances should it be less than the minimum specified by the code. What should be the minimum main reinforcement to be provided? There are quota provision. What should be the main? What is the minimum percentage of steel to be provided in a slab? A main reinforcement steel to be provided in slab. What should be the minimum secondary reinforcement to be provided in the slab? For all quota provisions are there. We are going to see them. That much we have to ensure. Okay, keep it in mind. The secondary reinforcement provided is usually the minimum specified by the code for such a reinforcement. That's what. Right? Just how I told you, right? Two-way slabs are those slabs that are supported continuously on all four sides and are of such a dimension that the load are carried to the supports along both the directions. Okay, so the bending action will be in both the direction, right? In two-way slab. Why? Two-way slab will be something like that. It will not be narrow. I have to say, I already told you, LOB, that is a long span to short span ratio is less than 2. Now, we categorize it as two-way slab, in which the bending action will be considerably more, okay, in both the direction. Both the short span direction it will be predominant. In long span direction also, it will be comparatively predominant, but that also predominant. Okay, That is why the first main reinforcement should be provided along short span direction, and also another main reinforcement should be provided along long span direction. Both are main reinforcements there, along short span direction and long span direction in two-way slab. That's why it's called two-way slab, because the tendency of bending is predominant in both the directions. First in the short span direction is predominant, comparatively less predominant in long span direction in a two-way slab. Okay, but predominant. That allowed you remember. Okay, that's what we are, because it's natural tendency. You can visualize it. You can demonstrate it by putting your notebook, okay, like a wall, okay, such that long to short span ratio is more than 2:1. That is one-way slab, and then long span to short span ratio is less than 2. You put, and then put a chart paper on it and add some distributed load, some weight, okay, some sand, you pour it, and you can be able to visualize the tendency of bending of that slab. That okay, that is chart paper. From this you can understand the mechanism of bending, the tendency of bending, or the mode of bending, the way in which the slab tends to bend in actual practice, okay, in nature. That you can see. Okay, this I hope you can visualize it easily. Okay, but right, that's what. This was a discussion more than sufficient to distinguish one-way slab and two-way slab, and I told you some information about some how the reinforcements are supposed to be is to be provided. Okay, that I have discussed with you. Now I will go to live load on slab in building. Okay, own weight in and okay, actually dead load of slab consists of its own weight, no doubt, and in addition the weight of finishes and fixture or partition, whatever it is, they are dead weight. Not only the own weight of slab, but also the finishes, because we do tiling, no top, that finishes or plastering, okay, and other finishes, partitions kept on it, and all include dead weight. Live load or imposed load is specified by IS code. IS code states what should be the live load for a residential building and for office building, for a public building, commercial building, like that. There are provision, codal provision. That much live load should be ensured. Okay, minimum you have to take while design. This live load varies according to the use for which the building is to be put after construction. After construction, for what use we put it? For public building, because more live load will come, more people will be coming and going. No, more it will be subject to more live load. Residential building, only we people, only a family will be living with the equipment, some furniture in the house. Okay, the live load will be considerably less. If it is a office building, again the live load will be comparatively more. Okay, if it is a public building, any shopping mall and all, it will be still high. Okay, or court building or something, some public building, it will be still high. In office building, okay, it is a bank building and all, public building, right? It is important to note that for design of buildings, these live loads are considered as either acting on full span or assumed to be absent to okay, not necessary. In continuous slab, they have to be so placed as to get the which one live load, or to be so placed as to get the maximum bending moment and shear effect in the structure. Okay, no doubt. But normally we take live load uniformly distributed everywhere, right? In the design of slab, okay, this is not necessary. According to IS 875, okay, I will come to that later. I will come for this as a discussion after distinguishing all type of slab. That is still I have not told you. I told you only the one-way slab and two-way slab. Here the nice picture available in the textbook. Okay, how a one-way slab will be. Now you can able to understand. Okay, initially I should have explained with this. It's okay. See here, you have a column, right, and you have a beam. Okay, this is also a beam, but it's called girder because it carries. This beam is supported on the side beam. This long beam supported on this side beam, which is spanning between columns. Okay, yeah, that's why it is called girder. Okay, no problem. This one here, you see, this is a slab. Here, see, the length is more than twice the short span. It is called one-way slab. Okay, because the length of the slab is more than twice the length of the shorter span. In other words, the long span to short span ratio is more than 2. That is Ly by L suffix y. L suffix y by L suffix x ratio is more than 2. It is categorized as one-way slab. In such a slab, the bending tendency will be more in this short span direction. That is why the main reinforcements will be provided at required spacing along short span direction. Okay. If it happen to be a continuous slab, it will be provided, the manner in which it will be provided, I will tell you later. The reinforcement will be provided along the short span direction. In this direction, we will be providing distribution steel, secondary steel, okay, called distribution steel alone. It is nominal reinforcement, will be provided along this direction. Only the short span direction, main reinforcement is being provided, okay, for a one-way slab. Next time coming to two-way slab. Suppose you don't have this intermediate beam here, in the same room, you don't introduce this kind of intermediate beam here. Only beams are running here. The slab is supported on this four okay, beams along. Okay. In such a case, see here, this is shorter span, this is longer span of the slab, but longer span is not more than twice the shorter span. No, longer span is very less than. Longer span is less than twice the shorter span. In other words, long span to shorter span ratio is less than 2. It is a two-way slab. Okay, right? Otherwise, Ly by Lx ratio is less than 2. Okay, so two-way slab. So here, the bending action will be predominant in both the direction. In the short span direction, the beam tends to bend predominantly. Comparatively, slightly less action will be there in this one. Okay, in this direction also it is tends to bend predominantly. Okay, in both the direction, the bending action is considerable. Okay, that is why you have to provide main reinforcement first along shorter span direction. That will be at the bottom of the slab. Okay, over that reinforcement in this direction also, long span direction also, we have to provide main reinforcement. But this reinforcement bars will come above this shorter span bar. First, at the topmost, at the bottommost, this main the shorter span bar will be provided. Okay, above that, this long span direction main bars will be provided. Okay, please remember this is two-way slab. Now I have not still told you what is flat slab and flat plate. This is called flat slab. Okay, in flat slab, in the slab you have a provision like a drop box, drop panel. This is called drop panel, square. Okay, in plan it will be like a square projection, some projection in the slab. No, so called a drop panel, and also a capital in the column. Okay, to resist shear. Here we are in the what is in the flat slab? Flat slabs are without any beams. Okay, they will not be supported in any beams. They will be supported only in columns. Flat slabs are supported only on columns. There will not be any beam between columns. It will not be supported on actually in conventional structure, the slab is resting on beam. The beam only transfers the load to the column. But in flat slabs, the slab straight away rests on column. It will not be there will not be any beam in it. Okay, but in that flat slab means in the flat slab you have at the column side, okay, near column, a drop panel like this and a capital in the column. But sometimes it is also called flat. What is maybe flat plates are? In flat plate, this provision also will not be there. This drop panel and capital will not be there. Okay, without anything, the slab will be otherwise the thickness of the slab will be uniform everywhere. The thickness, the slab thickness will be uniform everywhere. It will be resting on column. But at a near column, the shear will be high. Punching shear, one-way shear, this shear, that shear, so many shears are there. The shear force will be more shear resistance required. For that, special shear reinforcement will be provided around the column here. In this slab, around the column, in this slab, special reinforcements will be provided to resist shear. But the slab will be flat, okay, uniform with the uniform thickness everywhere. We call it as a flat plate, okay. If you want, the explanation is available here, I think, I forgot. Okay, it's available. Flat slabs and flat plates are those multi-span slabs which directly rest on columns without beams, okay, which directly rest on columns without beams. Flat slabs differ from flat plates in that they have either drop panels, okay, that is increased thickness of slab, or column capitals in the region of the column, okay, columns. Flat plates have flat plates I am talking about. Flat slab already discussed. Flat plates have uniform slab thickness and the high shear resistance around the column are obtained usually by the provision of special reinforcement called a shear head reinforcement placed in the slab around the columns. That's what, okay, I explained. Sometimes you may be asked to distinguish this flat slab or flat plate. Okay, what is one-way slab or two-way slab? The complete examination, you will be asked to give the distinguish them or give explanation for them. It's okay. Now I'm coming to our live load. The live load I already told you, no? This one, yeah. Where is that? Yeah, this one, yeah, live load. I am coming to that. According to IS 875, till feet of the RCC slab, reinforced concrete. Okay, RCC, we take it as 25 kilonewton per meter cube. Okay, no doubt. You are already aware of it. Finishes and partition generally 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. 1 or 1.5 kilonewton per meter square, we take finishes or partition weight. Okay, and then I am coming to that is about dead load, how to compute dead load. Okay, come to live load, imposed load. The characteristics imposed loads are, as per IS code, for roofs 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. Okay, normally we assume. For floors, if you come to floors, 2 kilonewton per meter square for residential floors and 3 kilonewton per meter square for office floors. They are minimum value. For residential building, the live load should not be less than 2 kilonewton per meter square. For floors, for roof, it can be 1.5 kilonewton per meter square. For office building, public building, it should not be less than 3 kilonewton per meter square. These values are minimum value. It should be more than that. Okay, remember. In building, the dead load is generally equal to or greater than the live load. So that okay, these points are not necessary. IS, what is that? Considering load, all allowed Indian code for arriving design moments. Okay, design moments shear, how to arrive. IS 456 class 22.4.1, it is there. We will see it later, that class. Okay. Structural analysis of one-way slab with the UDL using coefficient. Right. See, to analyze one-way slab, right? One-way slab are analyzed by beams of unit width, right? I have written here. One-way slabs, because of their one-way action, are analyzed as beams of unit width. That's what. When you want to, if you want to analyze one-way slab, what to do? You have to consider 1 meter wide strip of this slab. You treat it as a one beam of unit width. See, slab is spreaded, right? Along shorter span direction, I told you, you have to design for bending moment. Okay, you have to analyze the beam along shorter span direction. For that, what to do? You have to treat it as unit width, beam of unit width. In other words, 1 meter wide strip of the beam you have to take and analyze and design. Okay, that's what the statement says here. However, code allows the use of simple coefficient for calculation of moment and forces. Even you can either you can compute or straight away you can take coefficients from bending moment and shear force coefficient from IS code. How I will tell you. See, there are code operations, analyzed beams, unit weight, work width, right? I told you. You can make use of this table 12 and 13 of IS 456. Okay, these coefficients are given. Bending moment and shear force coefficients for beams and one-way slabs. Okay, see here, if the one-way slab is spanning, all of you listen. All of you just imagine your classroom. In your classroom, there are beams spaced at say some 3 meter spacing. Normally that will be 3.5 or 3 meter spacing only in your classroom. There are beams. Okay, just remember, call your classroom. There are beams at 3 meter spacing. At the back side of your classroom, back side of your classroom, there is no room. No, one room is there. No, yeah, one room is there. Say that a room is not there because it is partitioned. No, forget about that partition. You just imagine that partition is not there in your classroom. At the end of your classroom, no room. Okay, the building ends. The building ends. That span is called end span. Okay, you have a last beam and the next beam no here. That span is called end span in your classroom, back side of your classroom. Okay, there recently they put some partition and made another room back side. Just you forget about that, remove that partition. At back side of your classroom, third year classroom, the span is called end span. The other spans are called intermediate span, interior span or intermediate, not intermediate, interior span. Okay, end span, intermediate, interior span. Okay, that you remember. Now it is given here, end support. At end span, end support is there, no? Okay, there the bending moment is not there. There is no coefficient for bending moment, right? You come to near middle end of the support. Near middle end of the support, the bending moment coefficient is plus 1 by 12 plus 1 by 10. Listen here, near middle of end span. Near middle of end span means the bending moment will not be, because please all of you listen here, the slab is a continuous slab. That is the problem. It's not a single room. There are beams spanned at some equal distance. The span is, the slab is spanning along these beams. Okay, so your slab is a continuous slab there. Okay, if you draw bending moment diagram for it, right? Actually, in this book, why the end support bending moment is not given, they have treated as a simply supported. But in your room, it is monolithically connected. No problem. For some bending moment is there. I will come to that later. At the interior span, the sagging bending moment is maximum at exactly at the middle. But at the end span, the maximum bending moment will not be exactly maximum at the middle. That is why it is given near middle of end span. You have to take the bending moment as 1 by 12 plus 1 by 12, the sagging bending moment, plus 1 by 10. Okay, live load, bending moment due to live load. Actually, in this book, it is written different coefficients are given to compute bending moment due to dead load, due to live load, provided if the dead load and live load differ much, more than 1.3. Dead load divided by live load ratio is more than 1.3. We have to compute the bending moment considering dead load separately and live load separately. But majority of the cases, we take them together. Okay. Along this live load also will be added with the dead load, and it will be treated as a dead load only. So obviously you have to take this coefficient plus 1 by 12. Okay, and then at the first interior support, there are interior support. You come to the first interior support. At the first interior support, the bending moment is minus 1 by 10. That is the support moment. At first interior support moment. At interior support means support moment. At beam, near the at beam. Later I will explain while doing the problem. You do not worry. Okay, minus 1 by 10. Minus 1 by 10 na WL square by 10. Here WL square by 12. Okay, plus WL square by 12 minus WL square by 10. That's the meaning. At mid of interior span, you take the interior span at the mid. At the mid, the bending moment is plus 1 by 16 means WL square by 16. W is the weight per unit run, right? Provided if the W is weight per unit run. WL square by 16. Okay. At all other interior supports, at all other interior supports, at all other interior support means near the beam, at beam. Okay, interior beams. There are beams no spaced. In that, WL square by 12. Bending moment is hogging bending moment. That's a negative sign. Minus WL square by 12. Okay, because this I am not reading, because normally we dead load and live load we take together. That is why we are treating we are adding live load with dead load, and we are taking it as a dead load only. Okay, that is why I have given, I am discussing about the first row of the coefficients. Okay, time being you remember, other thing we will discuss later. Normally we know the shear force is maximum at the support, which is WL by 2. 2 means 0.5. WL by 2 means now what? 1 by 2 into WL, that is 1 by 2 is 0.5. So normally this shear force coefficient will be around 0.5. See, it is given here 0.5, 0.6, 0.4, around 0.5, 0.55, 0.66. Don't worry, they are given, but we can take it as a 0.5. WL by 2 alone we can take as a shear force to design. Okay, now we don't design beam for shear. In slab we don't provide any shear reinforcement, but if required, any check required, now we can use it. Okay, that's what. But we will not use much of this bending moment coefficient. In the design of continuous slabs we will be using. But in your subject, you will be doing only simple one-way slab. You don't have any continuous slab here. Okay, that and all Pakka design you will be doing in your design and drawing class next semester. Next semester you have RCC design and drawing. There you will be taking the real problem, the real building problem with the continuous slab in it. That time you will be doing the design and then you will draw it. Okay, that time you will be using these coefficients. Later, while working out problem, you will understand slowly. Okay, time being, whatever you understand, keep it in. Okay, design for shear. Slab we don't provide any shear. With this, I will finish. First, I want to finish the theory part. Okay, the thickness of slab is so chosen that the shear can be resisted by concrete itself. Okay, and the slab does not need any extra shear reinforcement. So the concrete itself can capable of resisting shear. It need not any extra shear reinforcement not required. Okay, provided if the slab the thickness is less than 200 mm. Below 300 mm, you don't require shear reinforcement. That too, most of the slabs we deal which are less than 200 mm thickness, 100 to 200 mm thickness only. So they don't require any shear reinforcement. You will not design it for shear reinforcement. If it's a deep slab, shear reinforcement required. That is separate issue. Okay. Only in extreme situation where the thickness tends to be very large, the shear reinforcement are allowed to be used for slabs. It's okay. Same thing. Again, they have discussed more about shear. 300 mm. Okay. Less than 300 mm thick. They have mentioned IS 456. This coefficient is given, which are not necessary, not required for you. If you're interested, you can go through, but not much necessary. I don't want to confuse you by explaining all these things. Okay, straight away I'll go to no shear reinforcement should be provided for slab less than 200 mm thick. Okay, it is preferably to design slab without any extra shear reinforcements. Okay, remember, it means you have to provide the thickness accordingly. That's what. However, it is found necessary, you have to provide it. That's what the point says. Okay, and then choosing of span effective depth ratio. That's what very important thing I am coming to design slab. Recall your design of beams. There you are. How did you arrive at the depth of slab? You first you have chosen span to effective depth ratio provided in the IS code. Okay, say span to effective depth ratio is equal to 40 something, and you made it a 35 or 30, and from that you determined the depth. Later you computed dead weight, the live load, and computed bending moment. Afterwards, you know M equal to 0.138 FCK BD square. From that you determined the D and checked it. Okay, whether the provided depth is okay or not. This kind of check we have done later stage. First we have followed the thumb rule, empirical formula, span to effective depth ratio. That is called thumb rule. We started with thumb rule. Later we have done Pakka check for it. Okay, we have computed the bending moment, and then M equal to 0.138 FCK BD square. From this you check the D required is okay, then the provided or not. From this you are getting provided D. Okay, D provided. Is it okay or not? From the D required, depth required, you compute at later stage. Okay, this way we have done check. Same procedure we are going to follow here. Okay, the same span depth basic ratio are given for beams in IS 456 are applicable for slab also. Okay, what is that? It is given in class 24.1 of IS 456. Okay, for cantilever slab it starts with like that 12. 12 for beam. Beam it was 7. For slab we can adopt for a slab larger span to effective ratio. That's why 12 we adopt. For continuous two-way slab, for beam it was 26. Here 32. Around 32. It's not exactly 32. Around. Okay. Simply supported two-way slab. It was for beam it was 20. Here we adopt 28. Actually, the ratios were given in the code as 40. For continuous two-way slab 40. For simply supported two-way simply supported beams, it was given 35. If we use Fe 415 steel, 80% of it can be taken. That provision and all you have seen. Whether is it necessary for you to show you that provision? Let us go to that. Where is that? Class 24.1 of IS code. Okay, just a few minutes. 24.1 of IS code here. Okay, it's given here. Okay, simply supported slabs 35, continuous slabs 40. Okay, it's given here. For high strength deformed bar of grade Fe 415, the values given above should be multiplied by 0.8. It means 80% of it should be taken. Okay, simply supported beam 35, continuous slab 40. These ratios and all given. You go through. These are the quadral provisions. Okay, there are some guidelines, quadral provisions for solid slabs. Okay, design of solid slabs. You will see it while doing problem. You will understand. Okay, now just I am showing the quadral provision. Okay, concrete cover. Concrete cover should be minimum clear cover. The cover to be provided to the slab depends on the exposure condition. Is it exposed to say severe environment or mild environment or severe environment, whatever it is? The clear cover should not be less than 15 mm. Okay, I'm sorry, 150 mm. Okay, right? So 15 mm only, right? 15 mm. Okay, the clear cover should not be less than 15 mm. Remember, what is that? Next one, caution of steel area in practice. Okay, calculation of steel area in practice. I'm sorry, calculation of steel area in practice. I am in hurry because I have to finish the class. I will finish it. Mu equal to point FS is nothing but 0.87 Fy. AST lever arm. You have to treat the slab as under-reinforced. So from steel strength only you have to determine Mu. After computing Mu, how do you get the area of steel required? Mu equal to 0.87 Fy AST lever arm. From this you can get the area of steel required. That alone you remember, okay? And also there are some other provision. The diameter of the steel should not exceed 1/8 of total thickness of the slab. The total thickness of the slab is no. You are providing diameter of steel. You can provide 8 mm dia, 10 mm dia. Sir, can I use 12 mm or 20 mm? No, you can't use. Why? Because it will exceed 1/8 of the total thickness of the slab. So the diameter of steel should not exceed. These are the quarter provision. 1/8 of the total thickness of the slab. The amount of steel area in either direction should not be less than 0.12% of the total sectional area. You take the sectional area. How much? 1 meter wide strip, no, thickness, that area. The total area provided in that portion should not be less than 0.12% of that concrete area. Okay, that I will discuss later. And the spacing of main steel. The spacing of main steel should not be less than 3 times the diameter or 300 mm, whichever is less. The spacing between the steel provided in slab should not be less than, okay, should not be more than, should not be more than, should not be more than 3 times diameter of the bar or 3 mm, whichever is less. Okay, scientist steel. The scientist steel also should not be, the specificity of the scientist steel or distribution steel should not be greater than 5 times the diameter of that bar or 450 mm, whichever is less. D means is not diameter of the bar. I think 3D might be not diameter, every depth of the slab. I think it's okay whether it is diameter. Denotes D denotes diameter of the bar or every depth. We will see it later. Okay. Well, in the problem we will see it later. That's what design procedure. Okay. Some reinforcement details figures are there. This I will do one thing. After working out problem, I will come to this detailing. Okay, nice pictures are available in the textbook. How to provide it, how to present it in drawing form, and all. I will show you these figures later. I will explain these figures, and then next class I am planning to start this problem. Okay, that the theory part is over now. The theory discussion is over now. The design of one-way slab. The design of one-way slab problem starts here. This problem I will do next class. After working out this, discussing this problem, I will discuss how to draw the drawing and all. Okay, with this I will finish today class. A few minutes. I want to record your name just for attendance. Okay, I want to record your name for attendance. Because we have been asked to monitor. Okay, whether students are attending regularly or not. Regular absentees are to be reported. Just 1 minute. I recorded your name. Okay, your names have been recorded. Right? Right, good. It's recorded. First I will stop recording, then I will discuss. Because I want to have a discussion with you. Wait until, okay.